All right, well, hello everyone. Just want to first of all start this video by saying thanks so much for the support on my first two videos that I put out, just talking about my section hike of the Appalachian Trail a couple weeks ago, where I covered just over 100 miles in 5 days. And yeah, since that trip is over and I'm still dreaming about it, I thought I'd just share a little bit about what I had in my pack, hoping that that would perhaps help others of you out there to think about what's in your pack and what kind of equipment you're using. I know there's a lot of videos out there like this by thru hikers, but I'm a section hiker because I don't have several months to take off for a hike, so I thought I would just share what it looks like to have an ultralight section hiking backpack. So first of all, to start, literally the day before my trip, I got a hold of a Palante V2. It had 40 miles on it. I bought it used for $50 off, and I couldn't be happier with it. It's got like a nice roll top enclosure up here that cinches down with a little buckle, and then it has another buckle on top that opens up to a nice big wide mouth opening. It's got your standard Kangaroo Pouch that a lot of companies, even the main production companies, are using now. And then the unique feature that they introduced to the market is this really cool pouch on the bottom for holding all your snacks. Water bottles on the side, pretty standard these days, and then a couple of shoulder straps on the shoulder straps. There's a stowable hip belt in these little compartments on the side. Hopefully the camera can see those. And out comes the hip belt, and it's a piece of 1-inch webbing. Anyway, I wasn't sure how I was gonna like this bag because I have the carbon fiber version that is hip beltless, and I used it for a 50-mile 2-day trip in England and wasn't totally in love with how it made my shoulders feel without that extra added support from the hip belt. So this really worked well. So anyway, I'm gonna start with what's in my pack in the Kangaroo area, the outside areas, and then we'll work to the inside of the pack. So start with pretty standard ultralighter gear now is the smart water bottles. I use the 1 liter because it's working on the Appalachian Trail. If I were doing a desert somewhere out west, probably go with the 1.5 liters, and you see people carry an extra like platypus bag inside, but I didn't feel the need to do that because it had just rained a lot from some hurricanes, and the AT is usually pretty wet anyway. Snack pouch, I will say right now, just for the purpose of the video, a couple of bars in there, but literally, I mean, people talk about this bag, you can really fill this stretchy pouch up. So I had like a 1-pound bag of pretzels in there at one point with, you know, 4 or 5 bars and just all kind of snacks fit in there. So really a great feature and definitely worth it. And then another cool thing is on the other side, I know the camera's probably not going to pick this up, there's a little tiny hole right there where you can put your trash. So the trash goes in this side, hides behind all the snacks that you still haven't eaten yet. At the end of the day, you just clear it out, and you're doing well for yourself. So some things falling out here. So yeah, just to start with, in the Kangaroo Pouch, I've got a cook set, and I use the alcohol stove. We got a titanium pot with a carbon fiber bag. Pretty standard alcohol stove stuff. Got a windscreen made of an old MSR Dragonfly windscreen, and alcohol stove made out of cat food can, little cloth to clean things up, some vitamins, chapstick, and toothpaste in a little Nalgene pot, cut off bamboo toothbrush, and a lighter. And I'm sure I could be a little more nerdy about a few of these things or go stoveless, but since it was a trip in the fall and a little cool, and I love a hot cup of coffee in the morning on the trail, I'm still using the stoveless design. So summertime, when that comes around, I'll probably, I'm still using a stove loadout, but I'll probably change all that in my next summer trip when the hot food and hot coffee aren't as important. So yeah, moving on. Headlamp, again, pretty standard. Black diamond headlamp. I'm sure you all have seen that in the shop. Oh yeah, and by the way, this Vargo fuel bottle with denatured alcohol Weighs 30 grams, and I think that's right, weighs an ounce. And then it'll hold about 9 ounces of fuel. This little cloth is great for drying condensation. If you're at a shower at a hostel or anything that doesn't have towels and washcloths, this is awesome because you can wring it out and start all over again drying things. But really I like it best for drying condensation in my tent. Body Glide, use this a lot, don't leave home without it. And another eating utensil, the old long handle spoon. And I always recommend a long handle spoon just because if you ever get a mountain house meal or anything, it's really great to get deep down in those bags so you don't have any leftovers, because carrying leftovers sucks because it adds extra weight. Okay, this may look like a nondescript plastic bag. I think I have 2 of them in here somewhere. I did. But yeah, these, I carry just 2 plastic bags for throwing right over my, I'll take my shoes off, throw them over my socks, and wear those as kind of rain socks while it's really rainy. Thankfully I didn't have to do that on this last trip, but this is a system that I am testing out. So maybe I'll do a video in the future about that. Alright, so I've covered food. Mostly. I've got one more item. This is the Z-Packs Bear Bag Kit. Has the strong string and then a rock bag. This works awesome. As long as you're not in a bear canister area, this is a great way to do it. And yeah, it's with the little rock bag, it makes things so easy. Okay, I think that's all the food covered now. And I have a little toilet bag here. Again, you'll see another cheap grocery store bag. I switched to these instead of using those heavier nylon stuff sacks because they actually weigh sometimes 10 grams less. So if you add that up over a few items, then these really say, you know, I think 7 ounce or so. Deuce of Spades, I bring this because I know people argue that you can dig a hole with a trekking pole, but it's a little difficult for me, especially when it's time to go. And I always keep a, this is my luxury item, I keep a handful of wet wipes. And then when things are dirty, when a wet wipe is dirty and used, I put it in a clean, empty Ziploc bag to be deposited in the next town or trash can at a parking lot. So. Oh, last thing is a set of, I have 8 carbon fiber tent stakes for my Z-Packs duplex sleeping bag, and they look just about like this. Really nice. You do have to baby these. If you're going in rocky soil, they can definitely break, and I've had that happen with 2 or 3. So the heads will come off and things like that if you beat them too hard with a rock. So you definitely have to be careful with these. All right, that covers the outside Kangaroo Pouch. And the last thing I'll say is about this pack, I absolutely loved the ability to lash the trekking poles on. When I had a heavy food bag and a full ration at the beginning of the trip, I definitely wanted my trekking poles, definitely wanted the hip belt, but as the food bag got lighter, I wound up just enjoying the stride of walking without trekking poles. So I put these on the bag and stowed the hip belt, and it was mighty comfortable. So definitely a great feature. And I'm using the Black Diamond Flick Lock Alpine carbon cork. There's definitely lighter poles out there. I know Z-Packs makes a set that's much lighter than this, and REI even makes a pair that's maybe 5 or 6 ounces lighter than this now, with flick locks and everything. So yeah, I would definitely say these have been awesome, but there's just lighter stuff out there. So I would say get something like this in the future, but yeah, there's lighter models out nowadays. So I think that covers this side of the pack. And then yeah, hand sanitizer right there in the front, because you never know when you're going to need that. And then I have a tiny shred of a bandana just for wiping the nose when it got cold. It was nice to be able to clean your nose off. One thing I will say about bandanas, they're great, but they can add up in weight if you bring multiples. So if you're willing to just trim them down to a small piece, like this is all you need to wipe your nose of a little runny nose in the morning whenever it's cold or whatnot. So yeah, definitely recommend trimming those down. And then since I was hiking during COVID-19, I had a little carabiner attached to my pack and a one of these fancy outdoor research masks. I think this thing only weighs 15 grams with a filter. And most of the trip, almost all the trip really, until I made it to Damascus, it hung inside or outside of my pack, but it was always great to just know that it was available. Outdoor Research is calling it the 11th essential now, to add to the backcountry 10 essentials. So yeah, you might not be a fan or think they're important, but I was just trying to be a responsible person, considerate to everybody's views. So yeah, mask, and then let's go to the inside of the pack. So I've emptied everything out because the trip's over, but I have the Z-Packs Cuban fiber food bag. This works great. It's not chew proof. I'm pretty sure it's not odor proof or anything like that, but when your food's all in there and you buckle it up, you can run your bear bag line from this kit through it and send it right up a tree, no problems. Really easy, and it'll hold 5 or 6 days worth of food for me, so pretty hefty. Inside is mostly just soft stuff. I got a pair of old Black Diamond gloves. This is probably their last trip. A lot of holes in them, but they've been all over the world with me. Sorry, some things fell out, so I'm gonna grab them from back here. But backup pair of Injinji socks. I just try to wear one pair of socks in my tent at night, and the other socks I put all the dirt and grime on from the day. So